And another important meeting happening today. In just a few hours, President Trump will welcome German Chancellor Angela Merkel to the White House. Now, the two leaders are expected to discuss a range of topics, but the most pressing, the looming U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs. The EU's temporary trade exemption expires Monday night. So will Merkel make a last-ditch effort to avoid a trade war? Joining us now, Fox News foreign policy analyst Kiron Skinner, pardon me. Kiron, I want to start with this conversation we just had about what's going on in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. And our reporters saying that, you know, good chemistry between these two leaders. But will we really get more than that?
I think so. There's going to be, in terms of the Merkel meeting with Donald Trump, I think a reassessing of what it means to lead the global order. And when you look at the segment you just did on North Korea, I think it really relates to the upcoming meeting between Merkel and Donald Trump. And what I mean by that is the fact that in the context of the North Korean, South Korean meeting is Donald Trump as the center of the energy. What he did in 2017 in terms of pushing for crushing sanctions against the North Korean regime, his Asia summit where he helped organize so many of the Indo-Pacific powers against North Korea. You know, Angela Merkel has to take that very seriously. And I believe that the president goes into that meeting even stronger as a result of what's happening all the way across the globe.
Wow, that didn't even occur to me.
These
two things are related. And of course, we're not expecting the kind of meeting that we saw with the French leader, right? I mean, this isn't a working buddy, not backslapping, not holding hands with Merkel as she comes to visit. Will Angela Merkel be able to get some kind of relief from these sanctions? Will she get another extension of the deadline? And can Trump wrest more from her, particularly given the fact that you just made the point you just made that, you know, Trump's more powerful here because of what's going on in North and South Korea?
I think that Angela Merkel faces an uphill battle in her discussions with President Trump on very specific policy issues because unlike the meeting with Macron, where there is good chemistry, as you've already noted and as we know very well, the chemistry is not there, but the problems that the Germans face with the Americans are pretty substantial. There's a trade deficit of about $64 billion in 2018. It's projected. It was about that much last year. We haven't seen Germany come to the table on Hezbollah, the terrorist organization that's fully funded by the Iranian regime. The EU has designated its military wing a problem, but Germany has not designated it as a terrorist organization. We're divided on some big key issues.
Well,
so I believe that President Trump will press her hard on them.
She's less powerful than she used to be. I'm sure Iran will be a big part of the conversation. Yes. Kiron Skinner, thank you so much for joining in and being flexible enough to work in North and South Korea. Thank you.
Thank you.